Well, hi, everybody, and welcome again to season 3 of the Bold Vision podcast. This is a podcast where we interview and highlight business owners in the construction industry, leaders, innovators, and people that are really making an impact in their community. And so today I have with me a gentleman by the name of Mike Mogell, and he is the founder and owner of Clean Sweep Office Cleaning. It's a well established cleaning company serving the Woodlands, Spring, and North Houston in Texas. And he's been doing this for quite a while. And so I've had the pleasure of meeting him recently at some networking events. And I thought he had a great personality and I thought he would be just perfect for the show. So welcome, Mike. I'm so glad to have you on the show today. How are you?
I'm doing great, Sonya. Thanks a lot for having me. This is pretty exciting.
Yeah, well, we're going to
Yeah.
just dive into time to shine, as you always say, right? That's your favorite slogan. Why don't you tell us where that came from?
Yeah. I always ask the question, what time is it, people? And they yell out, shine time. So that's what we do. We make offices shine one at a time. And the way it came was when we first started this business, my wife came up with a little slogan because we were doing business for companies that were cleaning their own office. And then they said, we're getting so big, we need to hire somebody. So we came in and took that responsibility from them, relieved them of that. And she said, she put a little slogan together and it
Okay.
said, let us make your office shine. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. So we've been using that tagline ever since. Let us make your office shine. And so I use that in my networking a lot. And even when I'm not at a networking group that I go to a lot and people are there, if somebody asks, what time is it? They always yell out shine time, even if I'm not there. So it's really pretty cool.
I know, and that's why I brought it up. Even though I was just thinking as my introduction, because I have had the pleasure of being at a couple of networking events that you were at, and you would say, "What time is it?" and everybody would say, "Shine time." And so I like that a whole lot. It really kind of puts a stamp on your name, and everybody in the community knows you, right? So yeah, let's just dive into
Yeah.
it. So why don't you just start? Why don't you go back from the very beginning? Like, how did you get in this industry and how did you start, Clean Sweep?
Yeah, that's a great question. I really appreciate it. I love telling my story too, because it's kind of unique, and a lot of people I think have had these experiences. It's really about serving people. I've always been a servant-minded person, even in corporate America. When I was there for a long time, I was always in a customer service role because I like taking care of people and I like adding value to whatever they're doing. So, um, I was dating my wife at the time in 2002. That was quite a few years ago, and we went over to her dad and stepmom's house and she had a CPA. She's a CPA. She had a CPA office and tax and accounting and all that, financial. And then her dad was a architect, and they had an office together. It was just a small office. She comes walking out of the kitchen area, and she says, "Well, I don't know what I'm going to do. I fired the cleaning crew for stealing from us for the last time." I said, "The last time?" She said, "Yeah, they take logoed pens and paper clips and pads of paper, that stuff like that. But that's advertising. I don't mind about that. But they took your dad's Mont Blanc pen, yes." And I was
Okay.
like, "Wow, that's an expensive pen." She said, "Yeah." So I just let him go, and now I don't know what I'm going to do for a cleaning crew. And I said, "Well, Stephanie likes to clean." That was my wife, or my future wife at the time. We were just dating, and and I said I could pay off a little debt before we get married, which will put us in a better position. And we won't steal from you. We're family. And she goes, "That's a great idea." So it started with one account, 2 days a week, and we started cleaning for them. And it was a little bit of part-time cash. I had a corporate job. She had a corporate job. We were working on things. And then it turned into another one and another one. And they kept referring us to another little business and another little business, all in this little complex right here that had like 30 or 40 offices. And so we picked up 5 or 10, and we were making a little extra. And I said, "This is great." And then we decided to get married in '05, and we kept doing this business on the side and weekends and nights. And it was growing a little bit, but it wasn't anything I really wanted to do. I was actually trying to get rid of it because it was a lot of work. It's all night,
Yes.
it's all weekend, it's all mornings, it's all that. So I said, well, then I got laid off. And I said, well, thank God I have this, you know. And then we had a couple of children. My wife stopped working in the business. She started working in the home, taking care of the kids because I didn't want to raise kids in daycare. That's
Right.
another story. But anyway, so she went home and took care of the kids, and I hired a person to work with me. And then I
Okay.
built a few more businesses at night, and we got up to, a few. And then I hired another person to work with him, and I built a few more. And then I hired another person, and then another, and it just kept growing organically. A few more accounts, a few more people, and it just kept growing. And then I couldn't get rid of it. And then I got in the layoff cycle, layoff, layoff, layoff. That kind of stuff happens when you're in corporate. And so my last layoff was in 2013. We had bought a house in January. We had two babies. My wife didn't work, and we had this little cleaning business on the side. I got laid off from an $85,000 job, and
Okay.
just because my number came up, it wasn't any reason. They said, "Well, it's just one of those things that happens." I'm like, "Wow, that was crazy," and it was on Valentine's Day. So we
Oh,
bought a house in January. Valentine's Day, I got laid off, and then I said, well, I'm not going to lay me off. So I'm going to start this thing and move it full time. That day I prayed, I did all the things that, you could think about doing. Um, you know, all that depression started sitting in. Then I got a phone call from a lady who said, you've been talking to us and we'd like you to start Monday, 5 days a week cleaning. Can you do that? I said, wow, thank you, Jesus. She said, well, I'm
that
not
was a
Jesus. I said, well,
godsend.
that's okay.
Yeah, that was a
It
pure
was God
blessing
sent
from God
directly.
for sure.
Yeah. And she says, "Well, don't get your hopes up because we've never had a cleaning service more than 6 months." I said, "Wow. Well, the agreement says a year, so I'll take your 6. I'll see you 6, and we'll go from there." She said, "I
Right.
like that about you." So I said, "Okay." So we kept going. Well, today that was 2013. This is what 12 years later,
2026.
13 years later. We still have that account. We still have that account. So
Wow, that's
that's
amazing.
that's a testimony to the business
Yep.
and the fact that if you stay engaged and you care and you drive that I guess you would say service or customer service or that attitude of I'm here to help,
Right.
then business just keeps growing. So now today, after all these years, we have about 75 or 80 accounts that we clean. We have 16 or 17 people that are fully employed, and we're doing really well in the marketplace. So we've got a great reputation, and we just love taking care of people. So
Yeah, well, it sounds like it. I mean, I made some notes just about your company and about you. And, one of my questions was going to be, what's your leadership philosophy when running a service-based business? But I think you kind of answered it. It's relationships, right? So I know my audience, there's a lot of people out
yes,
there that, are on the fence about starting their own business, or maybe they're very, very young, they're babies, they just started a business, or maybe they're still working corporate and they've got this side gig, that they're trying to get going. And so let's just talk to the people how we can bring them value about, believing in themselves, being the leader that you are. What do you want to say to, these people that, maybe are thinking about, taking the leap of faith?
well, I say that trust in yourself, and you know people have a lot of good characters, but if they never explore them, they never get to reap the benefit of what they can actually do. It's all about reading, listening, and associating. So I'm always in continuing education. So I'm reading books all the time. I'm listening to leaders that have been successful, have made it, have achieved things that I want to see happen in my life. And so I listen to them and I learn from them, and then I apply things that I read, listen. So I associate those things. And over time, small little pieces of things that I've done um, have multiplied. It's like compound interest. If you do little things to lead towards your success, those little things multiply and soon become a big snowball running down the hill. And you don't even have to do anything more about it. It just keeps growing. So I think it's really about what you fill your space between your ears with. It's really important to develop yourself. And everyone I think we're in a world right now that they teach us what they want us to know. Even in corporate America, you can go to school, you can learn, you can educate, but they're only teaching you about their business. They're not
Mm-hmm.
teaching you how to improve yourself really and how to grow and develop to a next level. So I think everybody should develop themselves to the next level. It's all
Right.
about mindset change.
Yeah, it is. It is a mindset for sure. How do you feel about, how what's your I guess your I mean, not your specialty, but I mean, how is it that you keep, people that work for you for a long time? I mean, how's your retention in the cleaning services? I mean, do you find someone they stay with you for a long time? And if they do, I mean, what do you feel makes them stay with you and give you that loyalty to your business so that you can pass that on to your customers?
Yeah, that's a great question. We keep people for a long time. People are at our company for 7, 8, 5, 6 years. They just stay. The reason that they stay, I believe, is I give them autonomy. I don't. I'm not I'm not a thumb. I'm not like on your head. Managing from my thumb or nothing like that. I mean, there's the things that we have to do, and there's guidelines, and I let them take care of the business. If something comes up, we talk directly about it, and everybody has input. Um, not only that, but we allow them to be the solution provider as well. So, like somebody comes into our company as a team mate, we show them that everybody in the field, I'm not going to be in the field with you. You're going to have a lead, and there's you and whoever else. There may be a team of 3 or 2 or 4 or whatever that is out there cleaning. And as long as we take care of the place and respect and communicate with each other, we're all involved in the process. We have to communicate well so that we know everything's done and everything's done right. And then they can make their own decisions. Basically, they adjust their schedule according to certain things. If something's going to be moved from here to there, they all work as a team. Everything's on an app.
Okay.
If somebody doesn't respond well, if they don't clock in regular, if they don't show up on time, if they do, then we talk to them. They usually end up not working out
Okay.
because that's the type of personality they are.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no, that's good. You brought
So we
up
let them prove
I
themselves.
really like the fact that you brought up the app because I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of home service businesses that maybe don't have a CRM or an app in place or something. So that's a really good topic that you brought up. Let's just talk about that for a minute for anybody that's listening that, maybe is trying to put a system in place. Why don't you tell us about your system?
Yeah. So when we first started doing this, we didn't really have a system, and then when we went full time into the business, we said, "Well, we got to make this a little bit more concrete and give it a little bit more value and a little bit more process."
Okay.
And so we found this software, and the software encompasses everything. We can do bids, and we can do proposals, and we can do tracking of time, and we can do schedules, and everything is all invoicing. Everything's in the system, so we use this system um, to do that. And in the system is also an app,
Okay.
and the app on the phone, so that my manager assigns accounts to teams
Okay.
as they come on, and that team has that account, and it's put in their schedule on a certain day or a couple days a week or 5 days a week, whatever it is. And so it's on their schedule, so they can look at their schedule on the phone and go, yeah, I got to be here, here, and here. I got to start at this time, and we're going to have 5 jobs tonight. Boom, 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 boom. So they know exactly where they're going. They clock into every job and they clock out of every job, and then they clock into travel, because I pay everybody for their travel time because they're still actually working,
Right.
but they're driving from place to place.
Correct.
So they're paid from the time they start to the time they finish, all that time included
Correct.
while they're driving. And I tell them, hey, this is about your lifestyle, okay? We have a job to do. We have accounts that we have to take care of. But if you got to stop and get something at Walgreens, if you got to run to Walmart or drop off at a store and pick something up or go get a fast food or whatever, that's fine. Don't impact the team negatively. Don't take 2, 3 hours, because we'll find out eventually, and that won't work out for any of us. But make it your life. Make it a better life for yourself, okay? If you got to stop somewhere, stop somewhere. If you got to do something, talk to your manager, talk to your lead.
Right.
Let's coordinate this all together. As long as it doesn't turn into a problem, we want you to enjoy working
Well,
here,
that's good.
and that works out really well because people feel they have a little bit of flexibility, you know?
Right. And people want to be trusted and they want to have I mean, especially like if they're en route to another job and it just happens to be they have an errand that's right on the way, but they feel threatened that they're going to lose their job when man, it take them, 5, 10 minutes. Boy, if I could just stop and do this, not have to backtrack this afternoon in traffic, that would be nice. But I think it's all about communication too. Maybe just letting your manager know, hey, while I'm en route, I just got to make a quick stop. Just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, and we give them that flexibility and we trust them. And but if it turns out every day they're doing this and every day they're doing that and every day they're doing that, then that could turn into an issue. But if it's about your life, and making it easier for you, and you can respect us and appreciate this opportunity better, then why not give you that opportunity, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Because everyone can do more than they do,
yeah, of
you
course.
know.
Of course. We always can. And, I think it's a give and take. I mean, I'm sure some of your employees, they go above and beyond sometimes, when they need to. And so that takes into a consideration if they do have to make a stop or they got to take a few minutes off or, take a detour or something like that. So, let's just talk about the services and the industry focus, let's explore the range of services that your company clean sweep office clean, I mean, what you guys specialize in, because I read on your website, I know you do regular office janitorial, I know you do deep cleaning, disinfection. Maybe we'll get into COVID. I don't know if that was a really good time for you because of the industry that you're in, because everybody else, we know it was just a slum. And then I know you do post construction cleaning and you do floor cleaning and maintenance. So, let's just talk about some of these. How do you differentiate these services, to each other? So, let's just, dive into the different services that you do.
Yeah, we started out just cleaning offices, and the original slogan was "Take back your time, let us make your office shine."
Right.
And so that's how we really came up with it. And we started off that way, but then, sometimes things get slow or you not have enough coming in. So you got to look for other opportunities. So there was a builder that was building a building in one of these places and he said, "Hey, can you do this?" "Yeah, we can do that. Post construction cleaning?" "Yeah, no problem." So we come in and clean it. It's more of a one-time job. It's not like a regular thing. But my philosophy was if I can clean this place up, make it nice for the people to move in, I can meet those people, maybe pick up a contract. That's my goal for post construction. So I'm doing commercial, a little office or whatever. They call me, I do the cleanup for the construction company. Then I meet the tenant. Say, "Hey, are you satisfied? Does everything look good? How do we get a contract with you to take care of your building on a regular basis?" And that's turned into 2 and 3 and 4 year agreements. So a post construction cleaning where it's a one time, one off job, maybe not looking so attractive at the time. It is a little bit of extra money, but it's a lot of hard work. But it could lead to a long term commitment from a client, which is what I'm looking
Yeah,
for.
that's a really good. I'm glad you brought that up. Because I was in construction for 2 decades, and we always had, our final clean. I mean, and sometimes it did. We did have to bring the cleaning crew back more than once, just depending on the depth, the extent and the depth of the job. But there's always lots of dust after drywall, sanding, paint. You got the floors are covered. I mean, the windows. I mean, everything, windowsills. I mean. And yeah, some of my cleaning crews have spent, 2 and 3 days cleaning up a project for me. And again, sometimes we've had to go back in there and have a
Yeah.
punch list and we made another mess. And so we have to come back and have another, have them come back. But that's a great way to get to the tenant. If you could, be introduced by the contractor, know the person that's moving in, go back and talk to them. That's a great strategy. So, any cleaning services out there, that's a great way to get some commercial business because those jobs do pay a whole lot more. I mean, but like I said, my cleaning crews, I mean, they might come in with 6 people and spend the whole day there. And I know we're paying them thousands of dollars to clean up that site. So how do you get in?
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work. And, there's things that,
Go,
oh, go
no,
ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead about your post construction. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying that they're really messy, but there's things that you can do to maximize efficiency. Make it better. We have air scrubbers that pull the air in and clean all the dirt, dust, and everything. While you're cleaning, it's cleaning the air, so nothing's because everything falls.
Okay.
Every time you move, dust goes like this, it falls back down. So you could clean the place really nice, and the next day you come back and there's dust everywhere. And they go, "You didn't do anything." Well, we did, but the air is just making it fall. It's just every time you move something, it goes back up and it comes back down. If the air ducts or the air vents aren't pulling enough, if the air filters are dirty, all that impacts the room and the area that's being cleaned. So we have little systems in place that maximize that and help us get the dust down, keep it down, and clean it, and make sure that it doesn't come back the next day. So we have little tactics that we've learned over time,
Yeah.
because we had to come back so many times.
Right, right. Yeah. So my next question is,
We've cleaned up places where we've come back the next day.
yeah, I mean, sometimes you do have to go back.
Oh, go ahead.
You do have to go back more than once. Like I said, I've had my cleaning crews having to come back several times because you want that tenant to be 100% satisfied. And, sometimes you do have to come back. But I do have a question. So this brings up the fact, it kind of is going to lead into our next topic, which is going to be marketing and sales. So how are you finding these contractors or these construction companies? I mean, how are you getting in with them to even be considered to come do their construction cleanups?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Basically, I built my business with my feet, my face, and my mouth.
Okay.
So I do a lot of walking and talking, and yeah, this is how I've done it. And so what my strategy is every time I'm driving down the road and I see any kind of construction going on, I stop at that building
Okay.
or I take a picture of the sign. I call the company. I do something to engage that, or I walk right in. I go, "Hey, who's responsible for this job? I'm here to clean it up." And they go, "Well, we already have a cleaning crew." Well, then I talk to them a little bit, or we just build relationships that way. And it's really about networking and connecting. And then there's also a few network groups that I'm involved in that where there's some GCs and some builders and some commercial real estate people and all that. So I just try to get connected with them through there. We don't get a lot through the web on construction cleaning,
Okay.
but we have had some calls come in through the web where they're a builder and they have a retail establishment and they just need to get it cleaned up after construction. So we do that. Most of the people that are calling us are looking for regular service.
Right. But every once in a while, you get those people that are just Googling the first thing that they can find. They're in a desperate need, of somebody. They might not have a connection. And so they're just going down that list on Google and they're, just calling. So, yeah. So let's just get into your marketing and sales, your competitor edge. How do most of your clients find you? I know we've talked about referrals, networking, online, your chamber connections. Like I know all of these things you're doing. But let's just say for a residential person, that, cause you live in the Woodlands and let's be real. I mean, it's growing like crazy. So you have regular residential people, not just your commercial. I know that you do a lot of referrals. You have not a lot of networking, your chamber connections. But what about the residential people? Let's just say, someone that is searching online and Google. I want to know, how do most of your clients find you and how are you getting new clients?
Yeah, so Google My Business is a big thing. We do a lot of Google My Business. It's probably not the best, and our website, we have a website. I've had 3 or 4 different websites, and we've tried marketing, and it just doesn't drive a whole lot. I guess you would say the organic marketing is what we're doing now, where we're getting organically positioned through keywords or whatever, and a lot of we get reviews and we respond to those reviews with positive keyword to get more reach, I guess. But I don't pay for a lot of marketing because it just hasn't generated the opportunities. And when it was generating, I was in competition with 3, 4, 5 other cleaning companies, and you always had to be the cheapest one or you lost the bid. And I didn't really want to, deal with that a lot all the time, all the time, all the time,
Uh,
bidding against
okay.
five people and losing it because you're not the cheapest. And I'm like, well, there's just no value in that. So I just focused more on referral marketing and referral networking and opportunities that weren't so price sensitive, I guess you would say. I mean, price is
Okay.
always a concern. Price is always a concern. But at some point, you got to have value, and you can't keep adding value and cutting costs at the same time. It's hard to do. So
Right.
I've found that relationships are a better way to build the business. And when somebody says, "Hey, they do a great job for us, you should try them," that holds a lot more value than, "Hey, we got a Google listing here and they got some reviews. They look good." I mean,
Yeah.
which one weighs more? So
Well, I'm going to
that's
be
why I say
honest
I
with you.
built.
The Google, I don't
Yeah,
mean to
go ahead.
interrupt. I was just gonna say I was gonna hit on the Google reviews because I just did I talk about this a lot. I create a lot of content on, internet, on Facebook and Instagram and my LinkedIn channel. And I'm always giving people tips. And I'm telling you, these Google reviews are worth more than you think, because when people are searching and they're going down that list, they're looking at the reviews. And I just recorded a video on this. If you can get your clients to post a review using the keyword or the specific service that you did, that goes way longer. That holds a lot more weight than someone just saying, "Oh, they came and cleaned my office, did a great job." But if they say, "Oh, they deep cleaned the carpets, they cleaned the windows and the windows are shiny," or, they did a post construction cleanup at our new whatever. But if they're just being more specific, those Google reviews will hold a lot of weight, and people do read those. And I'm telling you, if you are being found in the maps, that's huge for you. So I'm glad that
Yeah,
you
we're
brought up
showing
the
up.
Google reviews.
One of the things about our business, it says office cleaning right in the name. And that helps us
Right.
with office cleaning if they type in office cleaning. But if they type in janitorial, we don't get as much of a hit. So,
Yeah.
those are the things that we have to look at. And I'm not good at all that. So I tell my people, "Hey, can you help with this?" And then they do something. I don't know what they do, but, we see a little bit of impact here and there. But it takes so long, any kind of marketing, and every time, if you switch marketing from this person to that person, whatever, it takes another 3 or 4 or 5 months just to get any traction. So I don't really understand all that. And I think it's,
But when you
I
find a
wish I
good
could do
one,
it.
though, right. When you find a good one and they're doing a really good job and they're searching all of these keywords and making sure you're showing up for everything and your website is optimized and you're staying in that, map pack in the number 3 spots on Google for not just office cleaning. And like I tell people all the time, when you pick a domain, if you pick a name that's got a keyword in it, you're going to rank quicker. So, I mean, it's very smart to have that in there. There's a lot of companies that don't. But I mean, if you're ranking for office, office cleaning, but you need janitorial, you need construction, there's ways to do that. And like I said, when you find someone that knows all these niches and can, make sure you're being captured everywhere, it does pay off. It does pay off. So anyway, let's just move on to like social media. I mean, I know you've got a Google business profile, know you've got a website. Most businesses, we all know, if you're a business, you got to have online presence. You really do need a website. But let's talk about your social media. I don't even know. Do you have a Facebook page, and do you have your employees, video when you're cleaning, and do you post that on social media too? And how do you feel the engagement helps you in that area of marketing?
Yeah, we have a Google My Business page and we have a Facebook business page. And we do a lot of social media stuff. I used to do a lot more, but it was really me walking and talking, like looking at an office, doing a bid, estimating. They really want to see the actual work being done. So I've been out in the
Correct.
field with some of my people doing some video, and that stuff gets posted, but it's really hard to do that every day. So we've slacked off a little bit, I guess, in that area, but we have quite a bit of social stuff out there. And some of it's generic. You just use some generic stuff, or you make up a a video that has the concepts in it, but not actually the people.
Well, to give
So
you an
some of it's
idea,
live
I
on
mean,
scene.
this. Yeah, but to give you an idea to help you, what I've done with some of my clients is whoever their foreman, like for example, I have a countertop fabricator, and so his foreman now, part of his job description is at the end of the day when they clean up. I mean, he takes a quick video, or during the day while they're working, he takes a video. So if you've got, a head manager, cleaner, the one that is in the field that's making sure, whoever that person is, you can just give them an incentive, at the end of the week, $10 Starbucks card or Walmart card, you give her once a month, just to take that footage for you when the girls are cleaning or whatever they're doing. If she could do that a couple times a week and hand that over to you and then hand over to your marketing team to upload, people really do like to see, what's going on. So
That's a
that's
great
just a little
idea.
tip for you. Yeah, yeah. I have a lot of
Yeah,
people
great
that have done
idea.
that. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess let's just move on to client relationships, reputation. I mean, I know we kind of talked on that. So what's your strategy on building like a relationship for long? Like you've got the lady that's been with you 20, has it been 20 years? No. You remember she said she only hired for like 6 months at a time. And now she's been with you for like 13 years. So what have you
Yeah.
done to nurture that relationship?
Just showing up, really. That's what you do. You show up on time, you take care of the business, you ask about the details. We send an extra person in every now and again because that account we have one person working, and that person goes in early in the morning, spends about 4 or 5 hours there. It's a big account, but they have it down to a system. And so, but I send in a special person every now and again, like maybe once or twice a month, to do some detail work, some deep cleaning, some nooks and crannies, some polishing of the wood, or whatever else needs to be done in those offices, because every office is a little different. Some have a lot of stainless steel, some have a lot of porcelain, some have a lot of granite, some have polished floors. It just depends on what they look like and what the detail is. And then some people are looking at the dust, and some people are looking at the kitchen, and some people are looking at the bathrooms. And you got to know what your clients are particular about. And so I tell them
Uh-huh.
all the time, talk to the manager over there, find out what their hot buttons are. What are they concerned about? If they're concerned about the trash being emptied and you're just working on the floors and you leave the trash, they're going to be really upset. But if they're concerned about
Right.
the floors and you're just emptying trash and you don't do the floors, then they're going to be really upset. So we got to find out
Right.
what their hot button is.
Correct. Yeah, what's important to them. And that all goes back to communication, having those discussions and finding out what is really important to them. Yeah, I like that. So, why don't you tell us, I want to hear a story about like one of the most challenging client situations that you've ever had. How did you handle it? How did you turn it around? Like you just got a situation, client totally pissed off or just, what comes to mind? I want to hear a good story.
Well, let's see if I can come up with a good story real quick. Well, we had this company. They're not with us any longer, but they were with us for about 7 years. But right in the beginning of it, they're a concrete company, so they cut concrete. So there's dust and debris everywhere, right? And the guys are walking in and out of the shop, and it's just nasty, right? And we just can't get it clean all the time. So what we did was, though, we put in a program to it's really about their floors because they're bringing foot traffic in. And she kept complaining that there's dust on the floors, the mats aren't clean, this and that and the other thing. But we found out that people are coming in all night and all day. And even after we clean, there might be 3 hours of somebody walking in and out of the building before the morning, really the business people show up. It's all these warehouse people. And so it looks like we didn't
Okay.
do anything. Okay. So that turned into an issue for us for a little while. So what we started doing was, we then started sending a guy first thing in the morning to be there before they opened up to walk through and check and test. So we started talking to the team at night. Hey, let's take a few pictures of this, and this, and then we're going to go in the morning before they show up. And we're going to take a few pictures of the same areas. As soon as they show up at 8 o'clock, we want to be there, right? So we walk around and go, hey,
Right.
we're just going to check out a couple of things. Go take those same pictures of those same areas. Then I go back to the management and I go, look, here's what's happening. We're taking a good job. We're doing a good job cleaning this up at night. And then people are coming in and out of here and these doors walking, whatever they're doing, and the debris is landing on the floors again. And this is what it looks like in the morning. You see, we were here last night. We took these pictures at this time. We showed up before anyone started working. You're 8 o'clock. You just got here and it's dirty already. So we showed them that it was happening after we left
After
and
hours.
before
It
they
was
came in.
happening after. Right.
After, well, we come in and clean after hours, but we may be gone by 8 o'clock, but they may be still working till midnight or 1 in the morning or whatever, and they're tracking
Right.
dust and debris in, and it looks like we didn't do our job. So by having those pictures and by communicating with the customer and by caring enough to find out what was going on, our team actually provided them with some evidence that, hey, it wasn't necessarily us. So that was one
Right.
situation. And we kept that account for about 7, 8 years. Eventually, things change. So I'm not sure what happened. A manager changed or something, but that's great. That's okay. There was another account that I was thinking of just now. Well, it's really just about seeing what's going on and identifying that there are other issues are happening, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
one time we got a phone call that a couple of doors were left unlocked after Sunday cleaning, and Monday morning they came in, the doors were unlocked, and they got really mad at us and et cetera, which you can, I believe that is cause to be mad. Yeah. So
Yeah.
my team though told me that, hey, my lead was there. He said, I checked those doors myself and I remember checking them and we always, well, we try to do a good job, but you never know. So one of those clients though, I by talking to them and communicating with them, found out that their vice president came in that morning and left before anyone got there and might have forgot to lock the door. He admitted it, that he might have forgot to lock the
Okay.
door because he went out quick. The second account, they didn't admit anything and they thought it was our fault still. So what we did as a team, we got together and we said, hey, how do we avoid this from happening ever again? Right? Well,
Right.
what are we going to do? We're going to go back and check that? No, we came up with a process of, hey, when you leave this account, every account you leave, I want you to videotape the door lock. Videotape the door lock. The door is locked. The alarm is on at XYZ account. And 7-second video uploaded to email. So now every account that gets cleaned, at the end of that account, we videotape the locking of the door, saying that this account is done, the alarm is on and set, and the doors are locked. If someone's in the
So it's
building,
just
they say, someone's in the building, we did not lock or set the alarm, and upload the video. Now, if anyone else calls and says, hey, what's up? We can send them that video. And we have done that before. We sent them the video saying, hey, here's the guy locking the door. Now, I had one smart Alec customer say, well, they could have came back in and unlocked it and left again without locking it. I said,
oh geez.
yeah, well, I can understand where you're coming from, but if they're going to videotape every locking of every door, that means if they go back in, they come back out, they videotape it. So I highly,
Yeah.
I highly doubt
That's
that
a
it
that's
was
a little
us, but I
nitpicky.
don't mind taking the heat.
Right. That's a little nitpicky, I think, but I think that's a great way. You nip that problem right in the bud. I think, video is key. Pictures are key. Like I said, I've been in construction a very long time and we document every single thing. I call it CYA, cover your ass. Everything, every single thing, pictures,
CYA.
videos, email, CYA. I have a conversation with somebody, I'm putting it in an email and I'm sending it to the team. I'm not letting anything go because at the end of the day, I'm not going to be blamed. I want to make sure I'm doing my job right.
Yeah, that's true.
So yes, just being in construction for as long as I was, you definitely video, pictures. If I have a conversation with anybody, I'm sending an email, I'm documenting every single thing. And so that's really good to have your team. I think that, solves a lot of problems, having them video that at the end of the day, because I know leaving doors open, that's been a problem for me. I can think of a couple of projects that I'm going through my mind. And as a superintendent, I'm supposed to be the last one to leave, but I had a project where the electricians and the HVAC people actually worked for the uh oh God, what's the word I'm looking for? We were working for a county, okay? And so the county, this was in Virginia, the Loudoun County IT, and it was their sheriff's department. They, because of our contract, they hired their own electrician and their own HVAC, but yet we did everything else from the plumbing, floors, I mean, the drywall, there's so much other stuff that we did. But the
Yeah.
electrician was like their preferred electrician that they had used on all their projects. So the electrician was not contracted through me and through our general contractor. He was not part of my responsibility. And so they would work crazy hours. And so I got blamed a couple of times for leaving the door open. And I'm like, hey, your electricians are here later than me. They're here earlier than me. It's not my responsibility to be supervising them. They're not contracted through me. So I'm letting you know if I'm the last one to leave, the doors are being locked. You know what I'm saying? But if they're coming in here and leaving stuff open, you need to have a conversation with them. So I can relate to that very
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Little investigation, helps sometimes.
right, right. So, let's just talk about, leadership and lessons, lessons learned, things you would do differently, looking at reflections. I mean, so if you had the chance to go back, now when you first started your business or lessons learned, I mean, what's one thing that comes to mind that maybe you would have done differently, or something now that you didn't know then?
Well, I had the philosophy to build it slow and let it grow under control. You know, a lot of companies grow really fast. They just bring in as much as they can and big, 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 big. They blow up to these multi-million dollar companies and then collapse.
Okay.
I've seen it happen. So I didn't want to do that. But looking back on it now, since this is such a need of a service, and it's such a broad spectrum of all of the work that we can provide. I probably would have gone a little bit more all in to build fast as I possibly can, because you can grow really fast, and you know it'll hash out the good, the bad, and the ugly as you go. So I probably would have grown a little bit faster to build it a little bit quicker. But I'm not unhappy with what we've done. And I think growing it slow has allowed us to maintain a little bit more control, a little bit more connection to our clients and our customers, and give our employees a little bit more, um, I guess you would say, respect or autonomy. So it's worked out pretty well for us. Um, I don't know that I would change much about it, but I might have gone all in full time a lot sooner instead of waiting till I got laid off the third or fifth time.
All right. Okay. So, and then I'm going to ask you one more thing in closing. What's the best business advice you've ever received?
Wow, that's pretty crazy. The best business advice I've ever received
Yeah.
was to, yes, it really came from my father. My
Okay.
father took over his brother's business. He was in the flooring business, my dad's brother, and he wasn't doing really well. And my dad went and joined business with him because my dad was like had worked for someone all his life, and he said, "Well, why not? Let's see what happens." So he went to work for went to work with his brother and bought the business. Bought into the business. And my dad said the problem is that he owes everyone, and he's he's maxed out on everything. And so his credit is bad, his relationships aren't good, and all this other stuff is impacting the business negatively. So my dad said, what we need to do is pay everyone and pay everyone first. We don't want to owe anyone anything. They want to owe us. So if you pay everyone up front. You pay them for their services. You pay them for take care of all your bills and your debts, is what he's saying. Don't work your business on debt.
Right.
And so if you do that, you'll be in a better place. And that was probably some of the best advice I got. Now, in business, you have to have some debt, but you have to really look at where you're taking your debt and why you're taking your debt so that it can be of growth and not of a burden.
Right.
Because everyone in this world right now is just suffering and suffocating on debt. And the American household or the people are the ones that are paying everything, paying it to the banks, paying it to the businesses, paying it to inflation, paying it to taxes. I mean, everywhere we go, we have to pay. And so he said, if you put yourself in a position where you are not owing anyone, not only will it feel good here and you'll have a better lifestyle, but it'll build a better business, a more stable company, and a better relationship with all your clients and your vendors. And so within about 2 years, my dad had unlimited credit, maxed out. Anybody would give him anything. It didn't matter because he took care of everything right away. So that's what he said. Take care of it right away. Don't let it foster. Don't let it ferment. And you will have a good, stable, solid business. So that was probably some of the best advice I got.
I like that. That's very powerful. And yes, I agree. This day and age, things are much more expensive, than it was back in the day. And I know companies, I mean, you do have to invest in yourself, but investing in the right things and investing in the things that are going to bring an ROI. Like you said, if you've got to take on some debt, but it's a business transaction that needs to happen to grow your business, then sometimes we have to just take on those things and do it because we know it's a necessity, right? So I appreciate that. And then I do have one
Yeah,
other
yeah.
question. I have one more, and then we're going to wrap it up. What's your favorite part about being a business owner? What do you like about being your own boss?
Wow, that's a great question. What I like about being my own boss is that I don't have indigestion. When I worked for someone else, you're always doing, and then you get slapped in the face with you didn't do this right, or you didn't do that right, or your review doesn't come out well. And it's like, wait a minute, I've been killing myself for this company because I'm passionate and I care. But now I've had pocketbook stress having my own business. I've
Yeah.
had brain stress, mind stress. I've had financial problems. I've had relationship issues, but I've never had any gut stress. I've never had indigestion in my own business because I know I'm doing the right thing and I know I'm taking care of people and I'm not just like letting somebody go because I feel like it. I'm not laying people off because, you know, times are tough. I'm looking for better ways to employ, to grow, to develop and keep people, retain that relationship in every area. So I feel like that's probably one of my biggest takeaways is when I got into this business, I thought, how am I going to make this thing happen? Cleaning offices, I was only bringing in like 20 grand a year. And that's not enough to run a family. Right. And
Mm-mm.
so, but I built this thing to something. And over time, I've learned that if you just stay in the game, you stay committed and you take care of other people, they will take care of you too.
Yeah, I like that a whole lot. All right, Mike. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. And I really just wanted to thank you for your time. I really got a lot of enjoyment out of learning more about you and about what you do. So, why don't you just tell everybody, anyone listening, if they have a cleaning need in the northern Houston area, why don't you give them your website, how they can find you on social media? And maybe if you even want to give a phone number out, you can go ahead and do that now.
Yeah, that's great. We talked a lot about my cleaning business, Steam Clean Sweep Office Cleaning, but I also own Trinity Steam Cleaning because we do a lot of floor work. And so we bought a cleaning company that does floors, specifically tile and grout, carpet. We do upholstery, we do air duct cleaning, we do other things that are steam related because steam kills. It's 160 degrees and it kills bacteria, germs, and virus. That's one of the things that we really focus on is killing bacteria. Because if you just come in and wipe it with Fabuloso and it smells good, it doesn't do anything for disinfecting.
Okay.
We need to use a disinfectant to make sure that people are healthier in their environments. And that's a high focus of ours. You mentioned COVID a while back. Yeah, COVID was a problem for us. We lost about a third of our business because everybody started working from home within a month. But then I started disinfecting. And by disinfecting, we actually made more revenue, helped more people, and established new businesses based on the disinfecting. And then when those companies that left us came back, there was even more value to add to them. So I think COVID was a great thing for us. And I think that keeping a clean environment is important for people. And if you know that your people are taking off time from work because they want to go on vacation, not because they're sick, that's a value added, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if they're healthier in their workspace, then you have a more productive environment. So that's what I say. Keep them healthy, keep them clean, make it neat, and that's a clean sweep. So Clean Sweep Office Cleaning, you can get us at cleansweepofficecleaning.com.
Yep.
You can call us at 281-651-2651. And we also, again, have Trinity Steam Cleaning. That's another separate company that we just bought over a year ago, just over a year ago. It's trinitysteamcleaning.com. And that phone number that I gave you will reach either company. Talk to my manager. She schedules all the work, talks to all the people that call, and you'll love her. She's very funny and very detailed. You know, we just want to take care of people, and we're servant minded and servant based company. And that's what we feel that we should do. You know, it's biblical that we should give and then receive. And that's what we do. We give a service and we provide a little bit extra everywhere we go. And this will provide for us and our business and our families and the relationships that we have. So, hey, now that's a steam clean sweep, making it shine one office at a time.
I love it. I love it. Well, thanks, Mike. We're going to wrap it up, and everybody, thanks for joining us on the Shine Time with Clean Sweep Office Cleaning. Thanks again, Mike, and we'll see you next time. All right. Thanks, everybody.